Welcome to a brand new episode of Power Moves YLN Edition. On this episode, I chat with Nicole Bosse of REMAX River City in Edmonton, Alberta. And Nicole attended the Young Leaders Network event this year in St. John's. And she didn't just attend it, she was one of the speakers as part of the Take the Stage initiative. And she gave a presentation called Investing in Video. And this interview really broke down some of those elements from that presentation because Nicole is using video in such a clever way. Her and her entire team, they not only do listing videos, but they do something called Realty Reels, which is giving information to perhaps new buyers and sellers who don't know a ton about the real estate world. They're helping to educate that group. And they also do car chats, so really informal videos. And what I loved about this conversation is Nicole has solutions that are budget friendly. No matter if you're a very successful agent in this business and you don't have a lot of time, but you do have money, she has great suggestions, especially with the listing videos. And if you're somebody who you're brand new and you don't have a lot to invest financially, but you can with the time and the energy and the effort, she gives some low cost options where all of these are powerful, especially if you stay consistent. And that was sort of the ending theme. So you're going to want to watch this interview the entire way through or listen to it if you have this on your favorite podcast app. With that, please enjoy my interview with Nicole Bosse. From REMAX, this is Power Moves YLN Edition, where we chat with some of the best young REMAX agents across the country. My name is Wade Paterson. I'm an executive director with REMAX Canada, and I'm your host for this audio experience. And on this episode, I'm joined by Nicole Bosse of REMAX River City in Edmonton. An Alberta School of Business alumni, Nicole grew up immersed in the Edmonton real estate community and quickly found success as a realtor. In 2023, Nicole launched the Boss Street real estate team, and last year she hit a career milestone by earning the REMAX Hall of Fame award. At this year's YLN event in St. John's, Nicole shared how her team has seen strong results by investing in video. Nicole, welcome to Power Moves YLN Edition.
Thanks, Wade. I'm so excited to be here and chat with you and share what I can.
Excited for this conversation as well. And as a preface to it, I wanted to do some research for this one. So I did my homework. I dug up a video interview that you had from October 2020 with your broker owner, Shane Parent. And you were sharing in your first couple of years some of the top tips that you had found. And what I found interesting is even back then, you seemed to understand that social media shouldn't be all business content. I think your first tip was to have a healthy mix of lifestyle, or maybe even more lifestyle content as opposed to all business content. Why is that a social media strategy that has served you well over the years?
I think for me, when I got into real estate, I didn't want to be a realtor that I wouldn't want to work with myself. So I wanted to be something and someone that not only my future team members, because at that time I didn't have my team yet, but also if I were to be buying a house as a first-time home buyer, as a newer purchaser in the market, who would I want to work with? And when I was kind of trying to pick what type of realtor I wanted to be and what niches I wanted to kind of get into, what I found was really important, no matter which direction I went with what kind of clients or buyers or sellers I wanted to work with, was that I wanted people to know me, like me, and trust me. And I felt that if on social media I wasn't authentic and I didn't show who I was never going to have that connection with my clients. And it's really interesting that we're talking about this today because I do have a team member and she's less than a year in the industry. And she fired her first client last week. And wow. I think that is so important. And it really speaks to being authentic because when we show up authentically in social media and with our clients and in our videos, I think we attract the type of clients that we like to work with. And in this industry, if we're going to stay in it for a long time, I think we need to be working with clients that are like us or that at least trust us and know us. And that's what I wanted to start from the very beginning with my business.
That's a very smart strategy. And it just makes for more interesting content as well. I think it's refreshing because many agents are just putting business post, just listed, all of those types of things. So I think that's really smart. At the top of the episode, I mentioned that you had given this presentation at the YLN event, and this was part of the Take the Stage initiative. And you talked about investing in video, and you really broke it down into 3 different categories. And the first category was listing videos. And you said these listing videos and some of the supplemental videos around them goes beyond the single purpose of simply trying to sell that property. So I know that's a big question, but like, can you dive in? How do you approach listing video strategy?
You bet. And I think what's great about that topic in terms of talking about listing videos is it works for every market. So in Edmonton, when I first started doing listing videos, I would say it wasn't common practice. So not every seller was receiving a listing video with their commission that they were paying. So I was differentiating myself, and we were in a slower market. So houses were not selling within a week. We were having properties listed for months at a time. And so we really needed to find a way to become innovative. And with listing videos in a slower market, what you're able to do is you're able to collect all of these statistics. So we're posting them across platforms. We're able to take how many views and how many interactions, and then we're able to give those to our sellers. So in a slower market, or really any market, you really want to feel like you're serving your sellers. And that's the very first way that listing videos help, is because you're able to show your sellers these extra views, these extra eyes. And especially with the migration across Canada, we have a lot of buyers from Ontario and from BC who are actually shopping on YouTube, which is wild to me, but they are. They're not even coming into these properties. They're just seeing the listing videos. We're able to show our clients, our sellers, that yes, we can actually sell your home strictly from a video. That's it. And that's a differentiating factor to not only pick up listings. So when I'm in listing presentations, I bring my iPad and I play a whole listing video, which is so awkward. If you've ever watched yourself on video, it's just, you don't want to watch it with somebody else watching you. But I sit there and I sit back and I just hold my hands and I let the client just see what they're getting. And pretty much after I play that video, they've already had a bit of my presentation. So they know who I am. They know what they're getting. Then the video is kind of like sealing the deal. So it's like sealing that listing presentation so that we can get those listings. And we have stats on it. We get 97% of the listing appointments that we go on. And I would say a lot of the listings that we don't take, so that little marginal percentage that we're not getting, it's because we don't want them. So we're able to be a bit more choosy with the listings that we take and the prices that we list them on, because our clients really understand the value. And so we have a lot less commission objections because we're showing that.
Wow, that's incredible. And I want to dive into something you talked about there a little bit deeper, and that was the idea of cross platforms. So what does that look like? I mean, you have your key listing video, but how are you adjusting that? Are you sharing the exact same video on every different platform? Are you doing the variations of some horizontal, some vertical? Like, what's your strategy there?
So what we do, and I talk a lot about this in terms of video, everybody has different budgets that they want to put into things. For us, the really important thing has been we want to be able to offer the same level of service to each seller. And that means making it affordable no matter what the price point. So we're keeping it very efficient and very streamlined for each and every listing. And with that, we do a horizontal video and a vertical video for each listing, and we film them at the same time. So what we'll do is we'll go through the property. We'll film our horizontal, which we call the feature film. It's about 1.5 minutes. It's a little bit more in-depth. You're going to see me or the agent on my team on screen every couple lines of text. So you're not getting just the house. You're seeing our person, and that does increase our view time. We have stats on that as well. And so we'll film that, and then we'll go straight into filming the vertical as well, so that we can cross-platform post. So on Instagram, I'm posting both the horizontal feature film and the vertical. And the way I do that is I usually separate them within a couple days. So you're really blitzing the listing. I'll do the horizontal one, let people get the full tour and the full explanation of the listing. And then a couple days later, maybe when I'm talking about an open house, I'll post the vertical. So they're seeing that place again. Yes, they've seen it in the horizontal feature film, but they're getting another taste of it. It's really keeping it fresh in their minds. And then that allows us to post that vertical on TikTok. So we're posting the vertical on TikTok, and I found the views just keep growing, which is wild. It can be a very simple video. What we're doing is we're only doing a grab intro at the beginning. So it takes literally 2 seconds to film with your videographer when you're there. He flips the camera, he films you one line, you're done. We post that, and we're getting 10,000 views on these short 30-second vertical films.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And what I heard you say there that's a little bit different is the appearing periodically, like every few seconds, because a lot of agents, I see this video a lot on social media where they'll like open the door and like the camera goes in and you'll never see the agent again. Why, you said you have stats on that, but like, why do you think that is helping viewer impressions?
I think one part of it is we get bored. I mean, how many houses when you're scrolling through TikTok or Instagram do you just see? And as great as some of the houses in our market are, they are not $14 million oceanfront where the house is really capturing your attention. So I found that I would get bored watching these videos, and I'm actually interested in houses. And so what about the viewer? How do I get somebody to keep watching the video, guess what's coming next, and get a little bit more information? Well, not only is it the voice, like the spoken, but it's also seeing a person. It kind of puts a little bit of humanity to the video as well, and it keeps somebody feeling like they have something to watch for. So that's why I find like our stats, it's over 59 seconds of our average view time on our full length horizontal videos. So people are making it almost 75% of the way through our videos, which I think is great. And then the other speaks to the point of somebody getting to know me. If they've watched 3 or 4 of my videos and they've seen me throughout the property, sometimes I make little funny jokes. They see how I interact. They see how I talk. So they feel like they get to know me. So if they've watched 3 of these, they meet me at the listing appointment or they meet me at the presentation for a buyer. They feel like they already know me because they saw me touring through property.
Your second strategy in that presentation had to do with something called Realty Reels. What are those?
So Realty Reels are a new initiative that we've started. And basically think about it as a reel that provides realty information. Where it started from was I was bored of seeing agents post blogs. I didn't want to read a long blog to get to a 2-second answer that I could have Googled. So I thought, okay, how can we give those answers of these things that a lot of our buyers don't know? What is going pending? What does it mean when you list your property for sale? What's the best way to get showings on a property? So what we started doing were these Realty Reels where we literally sit in front of a camera. We make all of our scripts ahead of time. We use AI, we use ChatGPT to help us come up with the content and the scripting. And then we batch film them. We edit them nice, short. They're always under a minute. And we typically post those on TikTok and Instagram.
So we have, Nicole, some photos, I believe, that showcase these Realty Reels and how you're producing this type of content. What's interesting is that the photo on the left, for those who are watching this interview on YouTube, you see that this final product looks like you shot this video in like a professional studio. And even the middle photo sort of has that appearance of like, okay, this could be a studio space. But then the more zoomed out photo on the right shows that, no, this is taking place, I believe, in your basement.
My basement.
So what's needed for somebody who's like, how do I shoot semi like professional looking video content? Like what's required for this type of setup?
I think that is the barrier that most agents, especially when we're starting off, and it's the reason why in my presentation, I didn't only talk about listing presentations, because what if you don't have listings? What if you are just trying to get buyers? These Realty Reels are so great for that in building authority. But then I hear, well, I don't have enough money to hire somebody. Nicole, of course you're collecting buyers from these. Look how great Katie, one of my newer agents, looks in this video. Well, this is, like Wade said, set up in my basement. My basement is undeveloped. We have way too much stuff in our house. So it's literally all around that studio space that you see, if you can see the photo. That's just all of my junk, like my household junk. And what we've done is we've just set up a backdrop. It's just a plain white. We have a red one as well to spice it up a little bit. We have literally a bar stool chair, which I found on Marketplace. And then that light that you see behind is actually just a very cheap Amazon light that we can put different color hues to. So we're able, when we're batch filming, to change the hue in the background so that it doesn't look like we filmed them all in the same day, even though we have. And then your camera usage, and I talked about this at the YLN, you can use your phone. I think the biggest way to make these videos look super high quality is to set up one really powerful light in front of you, and then also have some kind of teleprompter helping you through your script. So when I first started doing this, I used to pre-script and then try to memorize them, and I would cut it and splice it so it would work. As soon as I started using some sort of teleprompter app, it made these videos look much better, much more professional. And that's why people, I think, ask me if we're filming them in a studio, because they just flow very, very nicely.
And what's the trick? Because I've seen good teleprompter use, which is your video content and your team's video content. But I've also seen like awkward, kind of cringy, clearly not looking at the camera teleprompter use. So what have you found works well to create that authenticity?
So the best thing is if you go on Amazon, you can actually get attachments for either your camera or your phone, depending what device you're using to film. And it does reflect your teleprompter app. So we use Prompt Smart, and it moves with our voice. So we have the script put into there. As we're talking, the teleprompter is moving. But because we have it mirrored right where our lens is, it allows our eyes to stay at the lens level instead of looking below or above. And so you can find ones that are around $300. I found a couple on Amazon recently that are 50, 60 bucks. And as long as you have a tripod to set up your phone or whatever camera you're using, you can just attach those to it. So it really helps you keep your eyes up, keep going with the script slowly, breathing through it because it's listening to you while you're speaking to it. And it keeps it going fresh. We're able to film 4 of these videos each in half an hour.
Wow. And speaking of the next tip, I feel like we're getting more affordable as we kind of like cascade down these video tips. So you start with listing videos, which you'd mentioned having a videographer. Okay, there's going to be some level of expense there. Then the in-home studio, we're lowering the cost, but still some expense. And then the final video idea, all you need is to sit in your vehicle and pull out your phone. It's something called car chats. Can you break down what is car chats?
Yeah, car chats. And my favorite thing about this strategy is after I posted it after I spoke about it at YLN, is I saw so many of our colleagues who watched the presentation going on in their cars and doing a car chat and talking about the event. And it's literally as easy as it sounds. You're pulling up your phone. You even do the front camera so you can see yourself, because sometimes that's a problem with people is they feel like they don't look good enough or are appearing good enough in their videos to then post it to their social media. So you're just putting on your front camera. You're talking about either something in real estate that you've done today, or my favorite trick is talking about something that's not real estate related, that's just about your day, that was interesting, something that's coming up. And it leads back to what we talked about at the beginning, is allowing your clients, your sphere, all of your followers get to know you in a different way. So by posting these car chats, it's crazy because I can be somewhere. I work part-time at a fitness studio for fun. And the manager of the studio was like, man, Nicole, like, I'm so intrigued. The market's really great. I'm like, oh, Robin, how did you know that? She's like, oh, because I watched your video yesterday. You were talking about how long it was taking houses to sell. And sometimes I think we doubt ourselves into how much we capture attention online, because there is an excess of views, there's an excess of content, that when you post something that is really genuine, that is really you, you'd be surprised how many people are going to watch it and absorb that information. So it's literally as easy as thinking of something before you open up your camera. I like doing it in a car because if I'm at home, I feel like my husband is going to watch me and laugh at me if I'm talking about some ridiculous story. In my car, nobody's there to see me. As a busy realtor, you can fit it in no matter what is on your busy schedule. You talk about it and you post it. This is the key. One take wonders. You don't watch yourself and pick apart the facial expression that you made or what you talked about. You post it right away and you just move on. And if you can set yourself on doing that frequently, you'll find that your audience is used to seeing you, and maybe you're also more used to interacting with them, that you're building more meaningful connections.
What I love about this too is that it's naturally interesting because you have that different cadence, that different mix where you're getting all, like, I would think that if somebody was only doing car chats, it might still be decent content, but the audience might get a little bit sick of that. But the fact that you're kind of rotating through these few different types keeps it refreshing for the audience, valuable business information, but then also getting to know people on a deeper level. But regardless what level of video you're doing, a question people who are either listening to this or watching this interview might have is, Nicole, I can't stand myself on camera. I hate it. It's my biggest fear. Like, what do you say to those people to overcome that hindrance?
What's funny is I hear even agents in our office that have been doing real estate for decades. They are so comfortable walking into a listing presentation. They have no problem getting in the door, shaking the hand of the person in front of them, talking to them for an hour. So great at building relationships. The way I look at it is if you can put yourself on video and show up authentically, you're doing exactly what you would do with a client face to face or your friends and your family face to face, except you're doing it in a different way to reach more people. So look at it as just another way to get to know people, to get to know your audience, to get to know your clients, and looking at it as adding value into the relationship at any stage, at the listing video stage, at the Realty Reels stage, or in the car chats. How can we put more of ourselves, more of our authenticity, and even more value into these relationships and into these spheres that we have to allow people to feel like they want to work with you, they want to get to know you, and just be yourself.
We've been talking about this presentation that you gave at the YLN event, speaking about the greater YLN event, and you've been to a few in the past. What are your thoughts on maybe an agent is listening to this who's 40 years old or younger who has yet to attend one of these events? What has your experience been?
My very first YLN event, I knew absolutely nobody. I was so petrified. I think it's a misconception that all realtors are like social butterflies and we are extroverts and can make conversation with anybody. That's not the case. But what's beautiful about REMAX and specifically about the YLN is the diversity of agents and of people that we have. And you will make connections that will not only help fuel your business. Every single conference I go to, I am referred or a refer out business, hands down. But even more than that is business connections where you both learn. So not only are the presentations so great at the YLN conferences, but when we're sitting around a dinner table, or very popular at YLN is a hot tub or a pool. We love to just have like pool chats. We're talking about what we're saying in listing presentations. We're talking about what we're using for marketing that's maybe a little bit different. You are picking up so much knowledge. If you make one or two real connections, which is easy at a YLN conference because it's smaller, I promise you, you will see the benefits in your business. And every year you'll want to come back because you're going to want to keep putting more information, more drive, more excitement into your business that keeps things going.
Yeah, and you're bang on. I mean, this event has grown a bit, but even this year, it was the biggest one we had in St. John's, and it's still under 100 people. I think it was around 80, which is a pretty intimate conference setup. Nicole, this has been such an interesting conversation, so much value you've shared about video. The final question we have on every episode of Power Moves YLN Edition is, what is your power move when it comes to real estate? So maybe you're going to take that down the video direction, maybe something completely different. What are your thoughts on what is your power move?
I think my power move, and when I talk to people about, you talked about it at the top, just the success of my business. I've been doing this for about 7 years now. I have a team of 2 agents and growing steadily. And people go, wow, like, how are you doing it? And it really has been leaning into being authentic to myself and to what I want my business to look like, and to working with clients that fuel me to enjoy my job. And it's something that I've learned from the other agents at the YLN and other agents in the REMAX network is to find longevity. I think in this career, you have to find purpose. And I think to find purpose, you have to be doing what is real to you. So stepping outside of maybe some of that imposter syndrome, which I think is very common in the younger demographic in real estate, is doubting yourself. Why me? Why should I have the success? And if we step into acknowledging that we deserve it, that we are great at what we do, if you're stepping into the video aspect, which I decided to dive full feet first in with my business, it's okay, I'm going to be good at this. I'm going to commit to it. and I'm going to put in the consistency, and I'm going to make it work because that's what I want to do, because that's where I want my business to go. So I would say, to wrap all of that in a little bow, my power move in real estate is really just being me and envisioning where I want my business and my team to go, and picking my pillars that I want to commit to. And video has been one of them. And I think the greatest success in that has just been staying consistent. Your first YouTube video is not going to get 10,000 views, but your 100th probably will. So just keep doing it. Keep putting in that value to your business and to your clients and to yourself. And I think you'll see the rewards come.
That's such a good suggestion to end on. Nicole, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Power Moves YLN Edition.
Thanks, Wade.